Good morning children. Welcome to English class. So children, in last class we were discussing about the lesson The Tale of Peter Rabbit. So in today's class also we will discuss further story of this lesson. So let's begin today's class. All of you open your English textbook and open page number 13. So children, before starting today's class, let us revise the second part of this lesson once again. So children, Peter began to run on his four legs. So he went faster, but unfortunately he ran into a gooseberry net. And he got caught by the large brass buttons on his jacket. So it was new jacket of Peter. Peter started crying. Some friendly sparrow overheard his sobs and they flew to him in a great excitement. And they asked Peter to try harder to come out of the net. Mr. McGregor brought a seal and tried to pop it on top of Peter. But Peter wriggled out. He moved out by twisting and turning just in time. So he left his jacket behind him. Then Peter ran into the tool shed and jumped into a water can. Then Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere there, so he looked carefully all around. Suddenly Peter sneezed. Mr. McGregor was after him immediately. So Peter jumped out of the window. But the window was too small for Mr. McGregor. And even he was tired of running after Peter. He went back to his work. Now turn the page and open page number 40. Then Peter sat down to take rest. So he was breathing heavily and he was shaking with fear. He did not know which way to go. Also, he was slightly wet sitting in that water can. Now let's see what happens next. After some time, he began to wander about looking all around. A mouse ran in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas for her family. Peter asked her the way to the gate. She had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. So children, after some time, Peter began to walk looking all around. So a mouse ran in and out over the doorstep. Doorstep means doorway, or we can say entrance. So she was carrying, mouse was carrying peanut for her family. So Peter asked her the way to the gate, but mouse, she did not answer because she had a large peanut in her mouth. So she could not answer to the Peter. She only shook her head at him. So Peter started crying. Peter now heard the noise of horse scratch, scratch, screech. Peter dropped underneath the bushes. When nothing happened, he came out, climbed upon a wheelbarrow, and peeped over the edge. He saw Mr. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. So children, Peter heard the noise of horse screech scratch. Peter darted, so he ran suddenly below the bushes. When nothing happened, so when the noise stopped, he came out, climbed up a wheelbarrow. So what do you mean by wheelbarrow, children? Wheelbarrow means a small cart used in gardens to carry things. So children, you can see the picture in your textbook, page number 40. So he looked over the edge and he saw Mr. McGregor hoeing the onions. So what do you mean by hoeing, children? Hoeing means digging. So he saw Mr. McGregor was digging onions in his garden. So his back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. So children, you can see the picture in your textbook. Peter sneaked out of the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could go. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him. Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and started running. So children, then Peter sneaked out. Sneaked out means moved out quickly. So Peter moved out quickly of the wheelbarrow, and he started running as fast as he could run. Then Peter does not care when Mr. McGregor sees him. So Peter slipped underneath the gate and he started running. Peter never stopped running or looked behind him till he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he plopped down upon the soft floor of the rabbit hole and shut his eyes. His mother later wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second jacket and pair of shoes that Peter had lost in fortnight. So children, Peter never stopped running or looked behind him till he reaches the home, till he reached home to the big fir tree. So he was so tired that he plopped down. So what do you mean by plopped down, children? Plopped down means fell down heavily. So Peter was so tired that he fell down upon the soft floor of the rabbit hole and he shut his eyes. So he closed his eyes. His mother later wondered what he had done with his clothes, because Peter lost his second jacket and pair of shoes in 14 days. So Peter's mother was wondered. Okay children, here we complete the second lesson, the tale of Peter Rabbit. So children, what is the moral of this story, children? The moral of this story is we should always listen to our parents, otherwise we may fall in risk. Okay children, now let us move towards new words in this lesson. So the first one is seed. S-I-E-D-E, seed. Second one is wriggled out. W-R-I-G-G-L-E-D, wriggled out. O-U-T, out, wriggled out. Third one is tool shed. T-O-O wheelbarrow. W-H-E-E-L. Wheelbarrow. B-A-R-R-O-W. Barrow. Wheelbarrow. Sixth one, hoing. H-O-E-I-N-G. Hoing. Seventh one is sneak out. S-N-E-A-K-E-D. Sneak out. O-U-T. Out. Sneak out. Eighth one is tremble. T-R-E-M-B-L-E. Tremble. Ninth one is flopped down. F-L-O-P-P-E-D. Flopped down. Tenth one is fortnight. F-O-R-T-N-I-G-H-T. Fortnight. See it, children, one more time I will repeat these words. So the first one is saved. Second one is wriggled out. Third one is tool shed. Fourth one is dam. Fifth one is wheelbarrow. Sixth one is hoing. Seventh one is sneak out. Eighth one is tremble. Ninth one is flopped down. Tenth one is fortnight. Okay children, it was all about new words. Now let us move towards today's homework part. And today's homework is read and write each word 5 times. So children, you have to read and you have to write each word 5 times in your homework notebook, and also read